In this final chapter, we'll look beyond Matsuzo Matsushita's spiritual abilities, philosophy, and character, and explore the historical climate that made it impossible for him to be officially acknowledged, as well as the surprising parallels between Matsuzo and other great figures whose ideas still resonate today. The truth about Matsuzo Matsushita: the government suppressed. There are stories that Matsuzo not only healed the sick through spiritual means, but may also have had the ability to foresee the future. After treating countless people, Matsuzo appealed to the Japanese government in 1933 about the country's future. Around this time, he began issuing a stark warning. A war between Japan and the United States will definitely happen. If Japan continues thinking the way it does now, the country is in danger. Japan will certainly lose. And he insisted, "This prophecy is not mere speculation. I can truly see the future." What makes this even more striking is that Matsuzo, who had rarely left his home in Nagasu, forced his aging body at 61 to travel all the way to Tokyo in 1933. That was 8 years before the war began. He met with influential figures in government and tried to explain what course Japan should take from that point forward. But the senior officials he met did not take him seriously. They dismissed him completely, quietly ignoring his very existence. Still, worried for his homeland, Matsuzo offered an even more concrete prediction in January 1941. He said Japan and America would soon be at war. At first, Japan would have the advantage, but the situation would gradually worsen. And 4 years later, Japan would be defeated. In reality, the war began with the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 8, 1941, and ended on August 15, 1945. It's said Matsuzo had correctly foreseen not only the approximate 4-year duration of the war, but also the shift in momentum. After the war began, the Japanese military initially occupied large parts of Southeast Asia faster than expected, and there were phases of continuous victory. But Japan was overwhelmingly outmatched by the United States in industrial capacity. Matsuzo's warning that Japan would lose if it tried to fight with weapons and material power also proved accurate. Foreseeing Japan's defeat even before the war began, Matsuzo tried to change the nation's fate through action. His trip to Tokyo was not only in 1933. He traveled again in 1944 before the war ended. This time, he met with then Prime Minister Kuniaki Koiso and pleaded with him to work toward ending the war. This episode is also supported by the diary of Kaizan Nakasato, a well-known Shinto practitioner of the time with connections to Omoto-kyo religion. In Nakasato's diary, he wrote that he met Master Matsushita Matsuzo and spoke with him at length, but concluded, "Other than healing illnesses and astonishing people, he is a man without ability." In other words, Matsuzo's pleas were not merely rejected, they were treated as unworthy of consideration. Driven by patriotism, Matsuzo feared for Japan's future and tried to act. Yet in wartime Japan, his extraordinary predictive claims could not be accepted. The time has come. In August 1945, just before Japan's surrender, Matsuzo said, "The time has come. Japan will lose this war. After the defeat, people's hearts will become more and more disordered, and they will suffer." Then he added, "Watch carefully what happens ahead." After the war, Japan underwent dramatic transformation under the occupation. Western materialism and individualism spread rapidly throughout society. Perhaps Matsuzo's words about people's hearts becoming disordered were a warning about the social and spiritual turbulence that would follow. For Matsuzo, who devoted himself to honoring ancestors and to loyalty toward the emperor and the preservation of Japan's national essence, post-war reforms may have brought profound sorrow. The resonance between Matsuzo and great thinkers. At the same time, Matsuzo's insights often echoed the words of remarkable figures whose ideas entered Japan from abroad. Albert Einstein, who gained worldwide attention after publishing the special theory of relativity in 1905, left this famous line: "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." Matsuzo expressed something similar in spirit. He said, in essence, science and scholarship are essential to the world's progress, yet they alone cannot build a peaceful society or a nation, nor can they bring happiness to humanity. Human beings must fully realize the relationship between their own soul and the atmosphere of the universe, and must practice Shidaido, the 4 great ways. Only then, by integrating knowledge from scholarship and studying ever more deeply, can one be aligned with the divine. On the surface, Matsuzo's achievements appear unscientific, and there is no scientific proof for what he called the 4 great ways. But perhaps he already sensed something, that one day such phenomena might be scientifically understood, and that it simply wasn't possible yet. And either way, science is a tool, while faith is the human heart. They are not enemies. Deepening both, he believed, is what ultimately leads to human happiness. Others who were silenced. By the way, Japan has other stories of gifted individuals, people with extraordinary ability and deep insight, who were ignored, erased, or even targeted. One famous example is the urban legend surrounding Kototomi Fujita, a clairvoyant said to possess Senrigan, an ability to see through distance and concealment. According to the legend, powerful leaders in politics and business, including Prime Minister, sought her guidance. And because she knew too many secrets, she was disappeared. When records of such people vanish from history or appear altered, there are often 2 possible reasons: national security concerns and conflict with a dominant scientific worldview. In Matsuzo's case, his warnings may have clashed with official national policy at the time. It cannot be ruled out that this is why he was ignored, and that later, attempts may have been made to erase him from history. Yet even if the government tried to silence him, Matsuzo's existence remains preserved in many documents and testimonies. Matsuzo's final words. Matsushita, Matsuzo, who saved many people, honored his ancestors, and devoted his loyalty to the Emperor Tenno, passed away on November 12, 1947, without ever witnessing Japan's post-war recovery. During his lifetime, Matsuzo would often say to those around him, "There is not a single person who truly reveres me. That is because the human spirit does not truly revere God." Those words capture the way he lived, believing his power was granted by the divine and refusing to use it for personal gain until the very end. There are countless more episodes about him, and in this series we had to leave many out. But this is the Japanese man once called a living god, Matsushita Matsuzo. So, what do you think of him? To close, I want to share one final statement he left behind. Even if a person wears splendid clothes on the outside, if their soul is stained, it is truly disgraceful. And even if they wear dirty clothes on the outside, they must strive to keep their soul noble. That concludes our story of Matsushita Matsuzo, said to be the Japanese man who came closest to the divine.